Hi, I'm Ethan Kwan, and today I'm going to show you how the pen blocks in Scratch work. Now, have you seen those 100% pen projects in Scratch? For example, there is these platformers that are super cool because they're all pen, and there are these projects where you can play with pen, and there's even things like... Moving on. There is things like those, and we are going to be trying to make one of those. And these projects look very complex. For example, I've made one, and here's one of the ones that I've made. This is just a demo for all the blocks that you might want to use, but same thing. These projects look very, very, very complicated. And why is that? Well, pen is a bit harder to work with than normal sprites because you're not allowed to use sprites in 100% pen projects. You're only allowed to use one sprite called pen. Yeah, so these pen projects are a bit harder to work with, but I will show you today how this isn't that bad. So I've already gotten a new project up and running, so let's jump right into it. Let's just shrink this stage a little bit so I have more space to work with. Alright, so first of all, how do you get the pen extension in your project in the first place? Because I don't see the pen on the sidebar. Well, all you have to do is click this little button down here, and you will see the pen extension. So you can just click pen, and then it will be automatically added to your project. Alright, so now that you have the pen extension in your project, the first thing you want to do, create one sprite, and we're just gonna paint a new sprite, and we're gonna call it pen. Pen. And you don't have to do this. I'm going to go ahead and drag in a costume because this one looks cool. It's like, yeah, it's like a weird texture. Also, we're gonna call this main. Alright, and we're gonna create a new sprite, new costume. I already have one defaulted. Okay, and we're gonna go ahead and draw the biggest square you can possibly draw on the canvas. And mine is about this big, which is pretty big. So I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna go ahead and move this move this costume around until it snaps to the center. And make sure you do this. This is very important. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call this big in all caps, so I know that this is a very, very big costume. Alright, so this is not required. It is useful though. So we're gonna go ahead and click back into the main, and you don't have to have this costume in it. I just like it. You can just leave this costume empty, but make sure you have a big costume as well. Alright, let's go to the code. So, this is kind of important. We're going to have to make this a bit big so I can show you. You don't have to do this, but I will just show you like this. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is drag out a when green flag clicked, as we always do. And we're going to start off with just the simplest things, such as drawing dots and drawing lines. Alright? So, for example, how do we draw a dot onto the screen? Well, let's go ahead and click down to the pen, and we're going to go ahead and drag an erase all at the beginning. Erase all basically erases the whole canvas, so it's easy to work with. And for animating, we normally wrap this erase all in a forever loop, so let's do that right now. So now we're going to be erasing everything forever. Now this doesn't sound very useful, but what we're going to do now is we're going to improve on that to make it a bit more useful than it might look right now. Alright, so what you're going to do now is we're going to click into the pen, and then now we're going to create a new block. So hop into the My Blocks. Why are we creating a new block? Well, because it's really easy to drag them out, and it keeps the blocks really organized. So what we're going to do is we're going to click make a block, and then we're going to call it draw dot at, and then we're going to add an input X, and we're going to add an input Y. And we are also going to add a... Okay, no, that's good enough for now. Okay, just click run without screen refresh, and click OK. Alright, and let's immediately use this new block. Draw a dot at, let's just say we're going to draw a dot at the mouse pointer. So go to Sensing, and we're going to go ahead and grab the mouse X into the X, and then we're going to drag the mouse Y into the Y. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go inside this draw dot. First thing you want to make sure to do is pen up, so that you're not drawing on the screen. Pen down and pen up mean that you're going to start drawing and you're going to stop drawing. So pen down means start drawing from this point. Pen up means lift your pen off from the paper and then move it. So we're going to pen up at the beginning, and just in case, and we're going to go to motion, and we're going to go drag and go to X, Y, go to X, X, the input, and go to Y, Y, also the input. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to pen down. Alright, now we're going to start drawing. And immediately after that pen down, we're going to pen up again. Meaning we're going to just tap the pen to the screen one time. And what we're actually going to do first is we're going to go ahead and grab inside looks, we're going to grab a set ghost effect to 100. So you can't see this sprite. So we can just put that at the very top right here. Alright, so now we have a draw dot at XY, and it should actually work. So let's go to full screen, and let's go ahead and check it out. As you can see, there's a very tiny dot moving around on my screen. Now, why did we put this erase hall here? Well, if we didn't put this erase hall, well, let's just test it. What would happen if we got rid of the erase hall? Well, now, as you can see, we are leaving a trail of dots instead of just one dot following our mouse pointer. So this is important that we erase all every frame so that we know that it's a fresh, clean start. So, yes. Now, you might have noticed that this is a very, very small dot. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and add a... Now, of course, you could do this inside the draw dot, which is what I'm going to do. So we're going to go ahead and click Edit on the defined draw dot, and we're going to go ahead and add a text input, and we're going to call it pen width, and add an input, width. Alright, and also we're going to add a color. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in text, and color, and then we're going to add 3 inputs. First one called R, the second one called G, and the third one called B. Now, this is the RGB color palette, so this is very useful for a lot of things. So let's go ahead and inside our block, let's go ahead and put pen width as 10. And color, we're going to do a completely red dot. So first of all, do 255, which is the max. And then we're going to put 0 and 0. Alright, so now we have draw dot at mouse X, mouse Y with a pen width of 10, color 255, 0, 0. Okay, so how are we going to use these new inputs? First of all, the pen width. Now this is pretty easy. We're going to grab a set pen size to 1. And instead of 1, we're going to just stick our width into there, and we're going to put that after the pen up. Okay? Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do the color. Now the color is a bit more complicated than this, so we're going to go ahead and go to operators, and we're going to go ahead and drag 2 pluses into the 2 additions into the code. And we're going to stick one addition inside the other one, like this. Let's go ahead and make this a bit bigger. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and grab a multiply, and stick this inside each one of these additions. Alright, except for the last one, actually. Don't put anything in the last one. Alright, so now we're going to move this over here, a little bit closer. Alright, so what are we going to put in these? So, we're going to go ahead and put an R into the first input. And then we're going to skip one input, and then we're going to put a G into the second input. And then finally, we're going to put a B in the last input. Okay, but what do we multiply these by? Well, these are going to be our color. So, since our range reaches from 0 to 255, for this middle one, we're going to put 255. But this r is a bit more complicated, so we're going to go ahead and grab another multiply, and we're going to go ahead and do 255 multiplied by 255. Now, this is about 60,000. So why don't we just put 60,000? Well, partly because I'm too lazy. So we're just going to go ahead and stick this 255 times 255 into there. Alright, so now let's go ahead and back to the pen. Grab a set pen color 2. And make sure this is not the set pen color 2 number. This is going to be the set pen color 2, and then this is going to be our color. So we can pick a color instead of just setting a number. Make sure that is very important. Alright, so now we're going to stick this huge addition math block into here. Alright, and now let's go ahead and stick this right here. Now if we run this project, let's run this project. Alright, so this is not exactly a red dot, so let's just see what I've gotten wrong. Alright, so I've gotten this number a bit wrong. We're gonna just paste this number in. We're gonna make it 6,500. Number is 65,536. So 65536. Make sure you get that number right, or else it'll probably be wrong, like what happened here. So this is not exactly 6, not 3. 65536. Okay, there we go. That's the correct number, not 35536. Sorry, 65536. Alright, so now we have a dot following a mouse pointer, and we can specify its color with these RGB values. So, this is working great. So now we have a dot following our mouse. Alright, so how do we make it a bit more interesting than that? So, let's draw a line. Alright, so let's go ahead and create a new block. Draw line from, and we're going to add an input, x1, y1, and then 2. So x1, y1 are both inputs, and then label 2, x2, y2. Alright, and we're going to add the same input, so pen width, width, and color R, G, and B. Alright, and make sure to click run without screen refresh. Alright, so now we have this draw line block. What do we do with it? Well, for now, we're just going to copy these scripts from here, because they pretty much have everything set up for us. So the only thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this go to XXY. We are going to be needing it though. So we're going to go back to motion, grab go to XY, and we're going to just drag in x1 and y1 into those inputs. Alright, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and drag another xy and stick these pen up, pen down back into here, and then we're going to drag out the pen up and then put a go to xy below that. And then we're just going to plop an x2, y2 into that spot, and then drag back the pen up. Alright, so now what this will do is draw a line between x1, y1, and x2, y2. So let's go ahead and test this. So we're going to go ahead and draw a line from, let's say, 0, 0 to my mouse x and mouse y, right? With a pen width of 5 and a color value of, let's say, yellow. So this is going to be 255, 0, sorry, not 250, so 255, 255, and 0. Alright, let's see if this works. Yes, okay, there we go. So now we have a line following our mouse, from 0, 0 to our mouse pointer. You might notice that this dot is below our line. Why is that? Well, that's because we have our draw line below our draw dot. So if you want the line to be above, we're just going to move our draw line above our draw dot. So this means it will draw our line first and then our dot on top of that. So if we try this again, as you can see, our line is right below our dot. So now our dot is on top, which is what I want. Alright, so now we have a line and a dot. So what's next? Well, another important part is to try and get x and y from our direction. Now, how do we do this? Well, it's not that bad actually. All we do is we need a few blocks. So So let's say we want to draw a circle, right? So let's make a new block. Draw circle at x, y, with a radius of, and radius, let's say, just put radius, right? And then we're going to need our pen width, and of course, pen color, right? So color R, G, and B. Alright, and make sure to click run without screen refresh. Click OK. Alright, so now we have this draw circle block, and let's use it immediately below our draw dot. And let's just specify a location this time. Let's draw our circle at negative 100 with a radius of 20 actually, and a pen width of 10, and a color of, let's say, blue. So since it's RGB, 0, 0, and 255. Alright, so now we have our draw circle, and let's actually move this all the way up so that we draw our circle first, so our circle will be on the back layer. Alright, draw circle at XY. How do we do this? Well, all we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a new variable, delete the my variable, create a new variable, call it dir for this sprite only. Alright? And we're going to go ahead and set dir to 0 at the beginning. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and grab a repeat 180 degrees. Because 180 is all the way around, and we're going to just repeat 180. Now, why are we using 180 instead of 360? Because we want to go all the way around the circle, and 180 is only half the circle. Well, we're going to change our dir by 2 so that it's not as laggy. It could be, you could do 360, but if you want your project to be faster, you should probably pick a smaller number for this repeat. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and grab a go to XY. Alright, and how are we going to do this? Well, we need a few blocks. So we need a multiplication, and we are going to grab a abs of block. But instead of abs, we're going to go ahead and, or absolute, we're going to go ahead and grab a sign. And we're going to stick this right in the inside of this, and then we're going to grab our dir variable and stick that inside our sign block. And we're going to multiply this by radius. And we can just duplicate this and stick this inside our y, and instead of sine, we can do cosine. Okay? And then we can go ahead, actually before that, I forgot about this, so we're going to go and grab go to xy, and we're going to go ahead and grab our x and our y. We're going to go to xy, x, y, and we're going to go ahead and set dir to 0, and we're going to go ahead and grab our setup scripts from here, so duplicate these, get rid of everything underneath the set pen color to, and drag these into our, above everything in our scripts, like this. Alright, so go to x, sine of dir times radius, cosine of dir times radius. That seems fine. I'm sure there's a problem, but so now after that we're going to change dir by 2. Alright, let's test this out. Alright, that doesn't seem like it's working. Why is that? Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, I forgot 2 things. So we're going to go ahead and fix this. So we need an addition. We're not specifying our go to xy, right? So what we're going to do is, instead of putting our go to xy here, we're going to put it inside this go to xy. So we're going to go ahead and put this xy, we're going to put plus x here, and we're going to drag this first x condition into the left-hand side. And we can drag that back, and again, we're going to do the same thing over here, so but instead of plus x, plus y. So we can just drag that into there. Alright, and another thing we also forgot to pen down, so that's probably, that might explain a few things. So we're going to drag a pen down right after our go to xy. Alright, let's test it out. And yes, now we have a circle being drawn at that location. Alright, that's great. And yes, so that's great. Now we have a draw circle function. Now, how do we extend this to a draw, say, an ellipse or an oval? Well, let's try that. So draw, let's create a new block. Draw ellipse at x, y, and we're gonna grab our two radius. So we need two radiuses, or radii. We need the x and y radius, we need the x radius, so side to side, and we need the up and down radius. So how far is it from both? So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do radii. I'm not sure that's how you spell it, but anyway, radii, and then R1, and then R2. Alright, and then we're gonna need our default pen width, and color, and RGB. Alright, run without screen refresh, click OK. Okay, so all we're gonna do for now is we're just gonna go ahead and duplicate the script from Draw Circle. Just duplicate that, it's pretty simple. Alright, so what we're gonna do now is most of this will be fine, but instead of radius, get rid of radius from the go to XY. Instead of radius, for the first one, we're gonna do R1. For the second one, we're gonna do R2. Alright, that's it, yeah. It's pretty simple. So instead of doing Draw Circle, let's do Draw Ellipse. So draw ellipse at -100, -100. Radii, let's do 10 and 20. Pen width, 5. Color, 100, 50, 0. Why not? I don't know what color that would be. Okay, let's test it out. Yeah, okay, great. That's a pretty nice color, I guess. Okay, so now we have an ellipse. And that's great. Now we have an ellipse that we can control. Okay. Now, that's great. We have an ellipse. So, that's pretty much it. Yes, okay, so that's the basic of the pen block. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, why did we have to draw a big square? Alright, so this is so that pen blocks can go off screen. So let's say we move our ellipse down to -180. So that's the edge of the screen. Now what will this look like? Well, as you can see, it kind of works, but as you can see, the ellipse is kind of getting cut off because the sprite can't go off the screen. So let's fix that with the big block, the big costume, because the big costume can go off screen very far, and that's why we made it so big. So what we're going to do is, this is actually pretty simple. We're going to go ahead and, before all our drawing, we're going to switch costume to big, and then afterwards we're going to switch costume back to the main costume. Alright, so now as you can see, our ellipse is not cut off at all. Okay. So that was a very basic introduction to the pen project. Now, pen block, sorry. Now, if you want me to make more pen projects like this, pen tutorials like this, please leave a like and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Alright, so thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe, like, share this channel with others. Alright, and thank you for watching. See you at howtodosomething.com, and see you next time.